Is 3 ways to fix your team performance issues. I want to share a story about my recreational soccer team which relates to your business and explains how to do this, okay? Now, first of all, this is hard for me to admit. You see, a few weeks ago, I joined a recreational soccer team and we got destroyed 16-1. 16 goals to 1. I wanted to quit. Admittedly, I am a sore loser. I'm from Manchester, England, where the only acceptable result in a soccer game is to win. So it was awful for me. And worse is watching a team fail when you know it doesn't have to. Problem with our team is we had no systems, no leadership, no accountability. Just chaos dressed up as having fun. And then I realized this is exactly what's happening in your business. So let me tell you the story about the 16-1 massacre. My friend Josh from church asked me to join his 8-a-side soccer team a couple of months ago. I had to miss the first 3 games due to an adductor injury, but I showed up on the sidelines anyway to support. Game 1, they lost 10-0, 10-0. Okay, enough said about that game. Game 2, they got beat 5-2. They held 1-1 until half-time, then they got tired because they didn't have any subs, and then they collapsed in the second half. Game 3, they lost 4-1. Only 7 of the 8 players showed up, so all of them were exhausted, and then they just got destroyed again in the second half. Then I returned, okay, knowing I only had about 20 minutes in me after being injured, so I just played a little bit here and there, and they got beat 16-1. I stood there watching in horror, not because the other team was that good, or because I'm that bad, but it was because my team had no fitness. Most of the players were gassed after 10 minutes. They had no pattern of play, meaning they have no idea what to do when they get the ball or when they lose the ball, what to do. They've got no ideas of what to do. They've got weak players with little soccer experience. And worst of all, there's no leader. They did not know what to do when they lost the ball. They did not know what to do when we had the ball. There was zero communication. There was passes going to players who couldn't handle the pressure. Our striker wanted the ball at his feet, but kept getting it high in the air with no support. It was complete chaos. After the game, I drove home with my friend Josh. Josh said, "I know we got beat, Mark, but, we had a fun game," he said cheerfully. I just stared at him with pure rage. It's fun when we win, Josh. When we win. The moment he saw my face, he knew he'd made a grave mistake. Enough is enough, I said. We need to start training, we need a game plan, and we need you to step up as a leader. Okay, so the first step was to install basic tactics. So before our next game, I pulled out a tactics board. I showed the team a simple formation on it. All right, and we just got 3 basic plays when we get the ball. Okay, a defensive structure, drop back, stay compact, 2 lines of 3. And then the next game, we lost again 4-1. But arguably, it was against the best team in the league, and there was a big improvement. We were much harder to break down. We created chances. We actually looked like a team. So after the game, I told Josh, listen, we need a proper training session. This Saturday, let's get together. Let's drill everything. So we set up a training session, but only half the team showed up to the session. Half the team said they'd be there, and half the team didn't show. Can't make it, running late, and then they ghosted, or injured, but couldn't even show up to support. I stood there in that field on the Saturday of training ready to walk away. But here's the truth. You can work with commitment, you can't work with indifference. Unfortunately, enough committed players showed up that we decided to give it one more shot. So we drilled the system properly this time. New formation, putting each player in roles, matching their strengths. 3 counter-attack options. Everyone practiced repeatedly over and over again. Defensive positioning was drilled until it was automatic. I spoke to Soichiro, our best player from Japan. Listen, Soichiro, you're our star. We need you to win games. Right? He beamed with confidence. He's ready. I spoke to the weaker players. Guys, we need you to make the simple passes. Run hard. Do the work. You're vital to us winning a game. Okay, got it. And our next game is coming up on Tuesday. We're in the playoffs despite losing every game, which is a long story. But we can still win this. We could actually win the whole competition. So here's what this has to do with your business. Like Jocko Willink says, no bad teams, only bad leaders. Just like I inherited a shit soccer team with no systems, you've built a business with talented people but no operating system to make them great. And just like those players who didn't show up to training, you probably have team members who are phoning it in while you're working 50 plus hours per week drowning. Okay, let me guess what's happening. You hired people without clear goals for their roles. You brought them in without KPIs to track performance. You probably don't have quarterly goals, so your team doesn't know what's a priority. And you might be changing direction because you don't have a 3-year plan. You could be blaming your team for underperforming, but deep down you know you haven't been the leader they need. And I know this because I've seen this with dozens of 7-figure entrepreneurs, and I know it because I've lived it myself. And it's the same thing on the soccer field. It's exactly the same thing. So here's 3 things you can do to turn it around. Step number 1, start leading, not managing. On the soccer field, I had to become the leader. Okay, I'm not even the captain, but I had to just assume that role. Not just to tell people what to do, but to set the standard, hold people accountable, and cut anyone who isn't committed. In your business, you could be managing instead of leading, right? Management is checking in. Did you finish the project? Leadership is, here's our 3-year vision. Here's this quarterly goal. Here's your role. Here are your KPIs. Here's why it's important you execute for the team. Here's why it's important to you that you hit these KPIs. Right? Let's win together. We need you. Get them sold into the vision. Okay, start leading with vision, clarity, and ruthless accountability. Number 2, start putting team members in the positions of their strengths. All right, I put Soichiro, our best player, in the position to dominate. The weaker players, we put them in other areas where they could just do simple things, simple passes, hard running, doing their job. Everyone has a clear role based on their strengths. In your business, you're probably putting your best closer on nurture calls, or maybe your strategist is trying to do the execution work, or maybe you are stuck in operations instead of vision. Okay, you want to first of all, put yourself in a position of your strengths. If you're the best salesperson, you should be selling, ideally to groups. Okay, and then start putting all your other team members in positions that align with their natural strengths. There's a great framework for this. It's called Strengths Finder or Strengths-Based Leadership. There's a book called Strengths-Based Leadership that will help you out. You also need to make sure that you have a system so that each player or each employee knows what they're responsible for and they're being tracked. Okay, this is known as an operating system, which leads me to, number 3. You got to have an operating system. My soccer team went from losing 16-1 to losing 4-1 just by drilling a simple system once. So we didn't even fully implement it. Not because we got more talented, it's because we installed a structure. Clear formation, defined tactics, simple repeatable plays, everybody knows their role. Your business needs the same thing. Okay, you need clear quarterly goals. You need KPIs that matter. You need weekly accountability and daily reporting, as well as standard operating procedures, SOPs for execution. All right, and essential is a 3-year vision and a mission that everyone is bought into. All right, we call this a business operating system. The one I use with my clients is called MAMOS, okay, $1 million a month operating system. I use this system to help my clients get to $1 million a month. Okay, without it, even great people fail. With it, average employees can become great. Okay, so here's what I'm offering. Recently, I helped 2 clients virtually double their revenue in 90 days. Valentin went from $200K a month to $392,000 a month in 69 days. Brian had similar results. We managed to get a record-breaking quarter. Plus, I personally doubled my revenue in 90 days in 2 of my own businesses. Okay, one of them was an e-commerce, one was a consulting company. So I'm taking 5 7-figure CEOs through the double your revenue 90-day sprint. Here's how it works. You invest $5K to start. If I increase your revenue by 50% or more in 90 days, you pay another 10. If you don't, you pay nothing more. Okay, what this gets you is you finally have a system instead of chaos. Your team knows exactly what to do. You stop being the bottleneck and you get your life back. All right, you're not working 50 plus hours while your team coasts. We work intensively for 90 days with weekly calls, full implementation support, daily reporting, but I'm only taking 5 people. Why? Because this is a test offer. All right, I want to get another 5 seven-figure business owners to double their revenue so I have even more proof, even more case studies. Apply by clicking the link in the comments, fill out the application and book the call. After you apply, if it seems right, I'll have a conversation with you, learn a bit more about your business, where things are breaking down, and then we can move forward and create your custom 90-day plan. This is for seven-figure entrepreneurs who make at least 100K a month, are drowning while their team treads water, and are ready to be the leader. Okay, if you can implement now, you're ready to get started, apply by clicking the link in the comments. And this Tuesday, I'm stepping onto the field with a system, committed players, and one goal: win. Are you ready to win? This is Mark Dahmer, the Mill a Month Mentor.